Straight up Tennessee family. What's happening, y'all? It's your boy Ruck in the building. It is a great Sunday night, and I am very excited for what tonight's show is going to bring. Check this out. Tonight, you see it in the title. It's straight up. What is Josh Heupel's most meaningful win to date? We're talking right now, 2025 from 2021 to now. What is his most meaningful win? I've got two, because I really think one win was the turning point and the other win was the obvious, right? But also, what does Heupel have to do to stay as the head coach at Tennessee long term? I don't think a lot of people understand what the hot seat is like in Knoxville, because once that seat is hot, it's hot. It's no like lukewarm or no. When it turns hot, it's hot. And whatever Knoxville fans, the Tennessee Volunteer fans, have to do to remove the cancer or whatever we think is the cancer at the time, we will do. Tennessee will do it. But what must he do to stay the Tennessee Vols head coach right now, long term? It's going to be a fun night. I can't wait to dive into this topic. But y'all know what to do, man. It's time to get it popping. Let's lock in. Let's tap in. It's your boy Ruck in the building, straight up Tennessee, baby. Welcome to the Sunday Night Live. Let's ride.
Tennessee's the program to keep an eye on. If you want to know which program that's not currently at the head table of college football, it's Tennessee.
Now Meshack's got to go. A fire! Fire! Wins it! Jahmai Meshack wins it! He needs a strike. Burton needs a bolt. Swing and a miss! And for the first time, Rocky Top reaches the mountaintop of college baseball.
Yeah. What's happening, straight up Tennessee fam? It's your boy Ruck in the building, man. Y'all know what to do to top the show. Like, comment, subscribe, and join, man. We got a few people watching live. Everybody that's watching live, go ahead and hit the comments right now. Throw in what you might, throw in your favorite questions so far, or if you have any questions about what's going on in Knoxville, what's going on with Tennessee football right now, throw the questions in the chat. I want to answer them live because I think tonight's going to be a perfect show for that. Because, man, I was thinking about this topic early this past week. We had a great week last week. Shows were great. Numbers were doing well. All of our YouTube shorts and videos and Instagram posts, everything's going well over there. And I had this thought, and I was like, man, I was talking to Turn, and I was like, yo, what do you think Heupel's best win actually was? Like, everybody points to Bama because it was Bama. We haven't beat Bama in, 16 or however many years it was consecutively. And then I really started to think, and I was like, no. Bama is the obvious. Like I said in the intro, there's two games for me, Bama. I'm gonna give you one of them, Bama, and we'll talk about that significance. But there's another game that was more meaningful to me personally than the Bama game. And I think some people will catch my drift, and I think some of you will agree, actually. But I want to make sure that I talk about it before we dive into Bama. So, man, it's Sunday, guys. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I know I have, man. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. I know it's Monday for Apple and Spotify, but happy Father's Day here on a Sunday. Wow, that was weird. I'm back. No, but happy Father's Day. To everybody who is a father. Don't take it lightly, man. It's amazing being a dad. I love being a dad. I've loved learning how to be a dad. I think that's a big thing, is a lot of people don't know that it's a learning curve to learn how to become a dad, bro. Like, it's a completely different world, a completely different everything, bro. And I have loved getting to learn how. My son is awesome. He's wild. He's very impatient sometimes, but I love him, and he helps me learn. So But let's see what's going on in the chat, man. My man Adrian is in the building. What's up, Adrian? He says, "You're Adrian. Happy Father's Day, bro. Man, happy Father's Day, bro." Dylan Elam, what's up, Brody? He says, "Y'all make sure a Kentucky fan told you." Oh my God. Oh, Dylan. I can always count on Dylan, bro. I can always count on that man, Dylan. Look, man, C2 is actually driving back to Nashville right now from good old Rocky Top. Sale is going to be out on Sundays. And then we actually are going to be getting turned back as soon as we possibly can. That brother's life is so fast paced. That brother's life be moving, and grooving. And so we're going to get him back, man, on the show. But on Sundays, I think for the foreseeable future, at least, it's going to be me. And then Wednesday nights for right now is going to be the whole crew. So, y'all, let's dive into this topic because I'm very excited about it. And I think that the trajectory of kind of where we go tonight is going to be based off of how hot I get, right? How tempered I get, or how excited. I don't know the word to use, but whatever. Anyways, what's Josh Heupel's most meaningful win? You look at the last 4 years here in Knoxville on Rocky Top for Josh Heupel. 2021, you get here, you lose 34 recruits, you lose 34 of your players to the transfer portal. They leave. You're stuck with what you have, and you have to go get what you can. That was the situation. Like call a spade. That was the situation. You had players leave. You have to get what you got to get whatever you can find, and you got to hope that the other guys don't leave. He convinces a lot of guys to stay. He convinces a lot of guys to come in. Joe Milton being one of those guys, and we start 2021, right? And it was exciting. It was different. It was a little more flashy than we've seen as Tennessee fans there in Knoxville. But it still ended in a bowl loss there to Purdue. And, it was what it was, right? I mean, Cedric Tillman had his kind of like, oh, my God, like Cedric Tillman's actually a good receiver. And then Hendon Hooker comes in after the Joe Milton injury against Pittsburgh in 2021. And, you're kind of like, dang, okay, like this like the same guy we saw in the orange and white game. And you're like, okay, Heupel, like we see what could be. We still don't know. We don't know. We're excited, though, because we're scoring points, right? We're scoring more points than we've had in multiple years combined in, 3-4 games in 2021. But the trajectory of that season wasn't necessarily any better than what Pruitt was putting on, right? You had talent. You had some guys that were still Pruitt guys that decided to stay. You had a lot of those guys leave, like Eric Gray, Wanye Morris, Keyshawn. I mean, you had a lot of guys leave, man. 34 of them to be exact. And you go 7-6. You lose in the Music City Bowl there to Purdue in 2021, and you reset in 2022. You know that Hendon Hooker's your starting quarterback. You know that Velus Jones is gone. Javonte Payton is gone. And you start to lose the guys that were making noise in 21. And so you're like, who's going to be that next guy? Well, Cedric Tillman was still back. So everybody was excited about Ced coming back, still being who he was in 2021. You have game 1 against Ball State, and you get a freaking interception on the first play of the game. And then you go on the second play of the game. Hendon Hooker throws a cutoff wheel route to Jalen Hyatt. He catches it, dives in the end zone, touchdown. It's pure pandemonium in Knoxville in that moment. You get a pick, first play, off of a stupid flea flick. Like, why was they trying to run a trick play the first play of the game against Tennessee? That didn't even make sense to me, bro. Right? But they did it. They didn't convert. And then we get the ball back, play 2, and we do what I said. Cut off the wheel. Jalen Hyatt cuts off the wheel. Hendon hits him. Catch. Straight into the end zone. Touchdown. You beat Ball State. Josh Heupel's most meaningful win was Pittsburgh 2022. Adrian said it right here. Adrian in the chat already knew where this was going. He knew where this was going. Heupel's most meaningful win is 2022 Pittsburgh, y'all. It's simple. Heupel has had struggles his entire career on the road. It's still happening now, right? It's still happening right now in 2020. I mean, last year, 2024. We pray against it in 2025. We think and can believe now with the road schedule. You go into the Swamp. You're going to Bryant Denny. You're going to Mississippi State this year. You got some opportunities to make real big splashes on the road, especially in the SEC. Neutral sites, he's fared well, but the road games going back to 2022 is what we as fans were not excited for, because we could chalk it up as L's. Like we just knew we didn't play well on the road. We go to Pittsburgh in 2022. Kenny Pickett is gone. And Keaton Slovis was the quarterback at the time, the transfer from, I believe he was at USC before he got to Pitt. I just think the way that game went for Tennessee was the way that games went every time when we knew as fans that we were losing. You play piss poor. Hendon's missing guys. I remember the first drive, Tennessee in the 2022 Pitt game. We get the ball. I think it was like a run. It was all right. Second play. I think it was, excuse me, y'all. I think it was like a curl comeback route. Hendon threw it tall. And then the third play of the game was actually a seam route to Hyatt, and he was so open. And Hendon missed him. Punt, 3 and out. First drive of the game. Anytime you see Tennessee going 3 and out, y'all know it's not going to be a good night. If we get the ball, we go 3 and out, it's not going to be a good night. Everybody that's a Tennessee fan should know that by now, and I think we do. But that game just fed into the Vols. Everything about the game. You knock Keaton Slovis out of the football game. They have to bring in a backup to kind of try to finish this thing out and beat Tennessee. We get to overtime there at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And what happens? We get in the OT. Hendon Hooker throws a 50-50 ball to Cedric Tillman, catches it. Ball game. But the significance of that game, I call it the hump game. I mean, I will forever believe that was the hump game for Tennessee. It was the game that got this entire football program over the hump. Because every time, y'all, we lost that type of game. We lose those games. 100 out of 100. If you play that game 100 times, we lost it 100 times. And all my real Tennessee fans here in the chat, y'all know I'm not lying. Those are the games we lost every single year. Every single year. Those are the ones. But in 2022, you got over the hump and you won. It was the thing that I believe was the most meaningful game. Now, we all know what I'm going to talk about here in a second was the actual most meaningful game, but this Pittsburgh game is what got us to even feel confident enough to then go down to Baton Rouge 3 games later and beat the absolute brakes off of LSU in Baton Rouge. You know, Dylan says it right here. I'll counter that with the 2022 LSU game. That game should have been a shootout, and we were in the driver's seat since the kickoff. If y'all don't remember, I can refresh your memory. LSU gets that kick. They kicked the ball off. We kicked the ball off in the Smoky Grays in 2022. I'll never forget that. We kick it off to him. Mind you, that same quarterback won the Heisman the next year, Jaden Daniels. But anyways, we kick it to him. Receiver drops the ball on the kickoff. We recover it. I mean, it was blouses after that. You had to know, like, you couldn't have had a worse start against a team that had a little bit of juice. And that's what we had. We had some juice. And we took it to them. From that moment on, we took it straight to LSU. Took it straight to them. I don't think, Dylan, you know, just to answer what you said, Dill, talking about, you know, you'll counter that. I don't think that was a meaningful game. Like, winning in friggin' Death Valley is definitely meaningful. Don't hear me say what I'm not saying. But I'm talking about things that got this program over the hump. if we never had Pittsburgh, if Pittsburgh never happened, we would have never had LSU. Like, that's the way I'm viewing it, right? Because if the Pittsburgh game didn't happen the way it did and we lost, we losing at LSU because the confidence wasn't the same. You see what I'm saying? We had more confidence. I have never seen us play that well, ever. My whole life, bro. I mean, I'm going back to the Swaino days, CJ Phaeton, them guys. I can't think of a time where we were just so hot that literally nothing could stop whatever we wanted to do. And that was us against LSU. But it took Pittsburgh to get to there. Right? And I mean, if you think about that schedule, you think about what actually played out well. We had perfect bye weeks that year. Bye weeks were placed perfectly for us to get healthy. And I also thought that we also did a great job of maintaining guys in positions where we didn't have depth, right? When we were up big, we were pulling guys. We weren't playing our guys all the time. And I think that was healthy because if we had been, we've been cooked. But like I said, Pittsburgh is the reason that we even got to, like, we can still talk about what happened in Baton Rouge in 2022. Pittsburgh was the beginning of that confidence just skyrocketing, bro. I've never, I can't say we, because there's a lot of older VFLs, older than me, who have seen this team be great, absolutely great. And then there's people like younger than me, Dylan, some guys that watched the show, Noah James, that have seen it be bad their whole lives, you know? And it's that Pittsburgh game in 2022, to me, that was the most meaningful win. But then you get to Alabama in 2022, 52-49. We all know the story. I don't have to explain the whole story. We know the story. The kick, right? But there was so much that happened that year that got us even to that kick, bro. Think about it this way. Would we even know who Jalen Hyatt really could have been if Cedric Tillman didn't go down against Akron in week 3? Somebody tell me, put it in the chat. I genuinely don't believe we would have even got a glimpse of how good Jalen Hyatt would have been. The Biletnikoff Award winner, Jalen Hyatt. Let me put some respect on his name, right? We would have never known that side of him had Cedric Tillman didn't get hurt. If Cedric Tillman was healthy, no way we ever find out that Hyatt was that good. I genuinely believe that. And I believe that because Cedric Tillman got all of the ball. I mean, go back and look at the passing chart in 2022. That was one thing I looked at last week when I was like getting excited about this episode tonight. Like, when you look at the passing tree in the first 3 games, dude, Cedric Tillman against Pittsburgh that year, bro, he had I think he had 18 targets. Yo, that's crazy. He had 18 targets, and I think he had 9 catches. So he got targeted twice as many times as he caught the football. And I think Hendon threw the ball that night. Somebody tell me, I feel like it was like 27 times or something. 27 of like 41. I don't know. That sounds right, bro. Hold on, y'all. I gotta find this out. Because that sounds so right. I know Cedric Tillman had that many. I know he had 18 targets. What I say, y'all? Hendon Hooker went 27 of 42 for 325 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cedric Tillman went for 9 catches, 162 yards, and he only had 1 touchdown. Hyatt had 11 catches that night for 73 yards. That's wild, bro. Like, when you really look at that, man, that is absolutely absurd. Brew had 4 touches for a tutty. But Cedric Tillman was the highest targeted receiver. I mean, you can look at everything, bro. Go back to that and just go look at the season and see who was getting all of the touches. Cedric freaking Tillman. let's see what the chat's going on. Adrian says facts. I mean, I'm telling you. Dylan says, I'll give a bit of a wild card game. 2023 Texas A&M. Everything went wrong for us that game, and Tim Banks coached a masterclass on defense. Had D. Williams not ran back the punt, we don't win that game. I'm not denying that, bro. That's 100% the truth. If D. Williams doesn't take that punt back, bro, that game, Tennessee loses that game. I think it was, 13-7 for the longest time. Yeah, Tennessee loses that game for sure. Loses that game for sure. Adrian said, if Tillman never got injured, Hyatt would have come back or transferred after 22. Ooh, yeah. He probably would have transferred, in my opinion. I think he loved Tennessee, and I think after the 2021 season, Jalen just knew he wasn't working hard, and he worked his tail off, man. And you could see his snap count got higher. Obviously Tillman goes down, and then obviously he becomes wide receiver number 1 as far as who we're looking towards, which was great. I just thought there was a piece of the Hyatt story that we never would have known had Tillman been healthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Tillman was fully healthy, we never see Jalen Hyatt win the Biletnikoff. I promise you. That's just how I genuinely feel about it. I would hope that he would have still had success, but things happened. And things had to happen for Hyatt to be who he was. Tillman had to get hurt for Hyatt to have the 5 touchdown game against Alabama, like what I'm talking about right now. Right? I mean, I have like memorabilia, folks. He signed it. I've got it. The 3rd Saturday in October, touchdown Tennessee, Jalen Hyatt, his 5th of the day. And it literally, this picture is so dope because it shows you the entire route tree on every touchdown he had. If y'all remember, the wheel route, the first one, boop, touchdown, right? Then you had the second one was the end around. I know you can't see it. There it is. This one here. Right here, second one, when he went around the play, scored, going right up here into the end zone. Boom, tutty. The third one was this one. Sorry, this one here. The straight dang-on shot play. Boom, tutty. The fourth one, the seam route. Oh, my. I know y'all remember the seam route, right? I know y'all remember the seam. And then obviously the 5th one was this one. That's that short post route. But like, people have this. I don't know how many people got it signed. I got the Biletnikoff award winner signature right here, baby. I got it. But like, this is what people will always say is the most meaningful game because of the significance of the rivalry, because of the significance of history. But when we talk about program building, it was a Pittsburgh game, man. It's a Pittsburgh game. It built us into what we became and who we are even now. Yes, we have less dudes. Yes, we have less like dogs, if you want to say it that way. I don't even know if that's true. I think we got guys all over the field that can still make plays. But I also believe that we all have to be a little more patient as recruiting and NIL. Everything's different, bro. Everything is so different. It's so vastly different. Dylan in the chat says, Hype's first 2 years just showed us how bad of a coach Pruitt was. He took Hendon Hooker, who was a failure at Virginia Tech, Tillman, a 2-star recruit, and Jalen Hyatt, a guy that was just fast and won an Orange Bowl. I always go back to the Jeremy Banks saga that year as well. If he was as bad as of a cancer as people said, does Tennessee even lose that South Carolina game? And does Tennessee remain number 1 in the country and go play in the college football playoff in that seed of 4 when it was just 4 guys or 4 teams? There's all that stuff, man, that I still just think about, man. And I wish that we had the answer, but the answer is that we didn't make the playoff. We lost to South Carolina. We played in Orange Bowl, and like Dylan said, we won it in year 2. Go to the playoffs in year 4. You know what I mean? Like, this has been a wild ride the last 4 years, and now going into year 5. So there's things that have to change. There's things that have to get better. There's things that must change and evolve, or, I mean, in 3 years, we're going to be looking for another coach. Heupel, in order for him to remain the head honcho here, he's got to continue to not recruit well, but continue to build culture. Continue to, I mean, one thing that we haven't done well, to me, I don't think we've won the portal yet. There's not been like this one guy. I mean, maybe you can say Miles Kisselman, right? Nobody can say Keenan Peely. We didn't see the dude play enough to say Keenan Peely was that much of an impact. Miles Kisselman might go down as the best transfer to Tennessee that we've had. I genuinely think that. Dylan Elam in the chat, my boy, says the best and worst thing to happen to Tennessee is that 2022 season. It felt great in the moment, but it spoiled us. You know, I hate to say it even spoiled us, Dill. I want to say that it showed us what we could be. Tennessee is a national powerhouse, man. People hate Tennessee because of its tradition, because of its history. Tennessee was always just that good in the 90s. Like, it was the teams that people wanted to beat. And over the years, we fell off. We lost that swag. But it seems as if Heupel's bringing that back. But it's not going to be enough to stay in Knoxville. Like, we peaked early. Heupel peaked hella early. He peaked earlier than I think all of us thought he would peak. But that's no excuse to not continue to strive to get to that same space. We got to the playoff last year. The expectation is to get to the playoff again. And I know a lot of things have changed. Nico Iamaleava is no longer around. You bring in Joey Aguilar from Appalachian State. And, you know, I think Joey's going to have a better year statistically. Goodness gracious, y'all. Can you tell your boy's sleepy? It's just 7. Oh, my goodness. Somebody help me. Somebody give me some coffee or something, bro. But I think Joey Aguilar is going to have a better statistically. Like, as far as the statistics go, his year will be better, I think, than Nico's was last year. And I know that you're like, Rook, you got to remember this is a quarterback competition. Y'all, I'm telling y'all, go back and watch episode 1. This is not a quarterback competition. Like, we got to have those guys ready, but this is Joey's team. And he's got to earn it. He's got to definitely come in and be that voice. He's definitely got to come in and work. But I don't see why a fifth-year guy would waste his time and not come here ready to work and ready to win a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't move from one side of the country to the other side of the country, then back to the other side of the country to just be here because you're excited to wear the orange. Like, nah, you're coming here ready to play. And I think Joey's going to do great. But I think Heupel, to stay here long term, he's got to start to win the portal, man. Like, look, prime example, Dylan. Joey wouldn't be here if the trust was there with Jake or George. It's simple. It's very simple. That's real deal. Adrian says this in the chat. Which wide receiver do you think will make an instant impact game 1? The obvious answer, I think, is Mike Matthews. I think you're going to see who Mike actually is. You know, we didn't get to really see a lot of him last year because of the way that the rotation was, but I'd be shocked if Mike Matthews isn't rolling out there your first game as a starter. But to me, man, I'm going to tell you guys right now, mark my words, and Sale, clip this. I have the same feeling about Braylon Staley as I had about Jalen Hyatt when I saw Hyatt in 2020. When I first saw Hyatt play in 2020, I'm just telling y'all. I think Braylon Staley is going to. Look, me and Dylan on the same way. Dill, you my boy, dude. I'm telling you, Dylan is my boy. I'm telling you, Braylon Staley is a dog, bro. Like, this kid is going to open eyes this year because I thought it was healthy for him to sit. He was the guy in South Carolina, bro. Him and Mazio Bennett were 1A, 1B. On which Friday night was the entire state going to watch? Was it going to be Braylon or was it going to be Mazio? Right? And Braylon stayed, and we kept with Braylon, and Mazio went decommitted and stayed in South Carolina. Fine. I think we got the better guy. I really do. And Mazio Bennett's a dog. He played some last year. I like Braylon Staley, and I'm telling y'all right now, just get prepared to watch Braylon Staley become great. He may not be just that amazingly great in 2025, but I'm telling you, he's going to make an impact. And you're going to see what I'm talking about. He is going to make a big splash in 2025. The portal is where we struggle, and that's what I want and what we need Heupel to do to be here long term, especially with NIL rules, how things are changing. There's just so many shifts in college football, man. Things are different. Things consistently change. And so I think if we can find a way to win the portal, we're going to be relevant. I think we're going to be fine this year. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to wow anybody or, hey, Tennessee is doing like remarkable things. I don't think it's going to be anything wild like that. But I do believe that Tennessee's got an opportunity to win 9, 10 maybe games, position themselves to get into a playoff. And I'll say this now, mark my words. The Florida game is going to be what decides if Tennessee makes the playoff. Where it's positioned, where it's at, and the strength of winning in the swamp. That game alone is going to decide if Tennessee is going to the playoff or not. We may have 2 losses by the time we get down there. But if you beat them, it's exciting. Dylan says this, it's just an issue with culture. And you don't want to pay a transfer more than the guys you've got here already following. Yep. I hate that's the way we do business, but it is what it is. You kind of understand it, but you also, man, you just want to be in that conversation, right? You want to win. You want to be in that circle, the winner's circle. You want to be at the table. And sometimes to get at the table, you got to do things that are outside of your comfort zone. And that's paying a dog, that's paying KC Concepcion $3 million to hopefully, be consistent. You know what I mean? A lot of those things Heupel doesn't do, and I don't see him changing it. But I agree with you, Dylan. It is what it is, and we got to figure it out as we go. I think paying the revenue sharing thing that has just kind of released, I think is going to help the team a lot financially. So I think more guys may even hit the portal to come to Tennessee because our revenue sharing could be substantial. So I'm excited about that, man. But y'all, thank y'all for tapping in on a Sunday night, man. I'll be back live on Wednesday. All my boys will be with me. It's going to be a fun night. Wednesday night show. I can promise you right now, you don't want to miss it. I can give you a sneak peek right now on what Wednesday night show is going to be. So check this out. What are the top 3 most needed wins for Tennessee in 2025? Y'all go ahead and be thinking, but what's your top 3 wins? No, I don't need to see comments tonight. Save them for Wednesday. The top 3 most needed wins in 2025. Me, Cell C2, live on Wednesday night. I can't wait. It's going to be a fun time. But until then, y'all like, comment, subscribe, and join. Hit that join button. Join. Spam it. Send this out to people, man. Tell people to come subscribe. We're growing, and it's going to be a fun fall. So until Wednesday, y'all know what to do, man. Lock in, tap in. It's your boy Ruck in the building, and it's straight up Tennessee, baby. We'll see you live on Wednesday night.